The Madman! Announcement! The Boomsday project is the next Hearthstone expansion.
It's the Boomsday project!
It's gonna come out on August 7th, which is just under a month. Beginning with Biology Project, a druid spell, 1 mana, each player gains 2 mana crystals. Those crystals aren't empty, by the way. It's a symmetric effect, but druid is definitely benefiting a lot more from this. A lot of the druid decks in the meta are running all the ramp cards. In theory, you can cast Master Oakheart on turn 2 by going second and going Biology Project, coin, nourish, wild growth. Turn 2, you draw Master Oakheart, and then you play her, and then you play him, and then you win the game. So there's that, but there's also just the more basic idea where you can actually just do Biology Project into wild growth, and then you can actually cast Nourish the next turn. And then like you go Lich King or something, and then you follow that up with Oakheart on 4, or something else, and then you follow up with Ultimate Infestation on 5. Wow. So even though this is a symmetric effect, I would be watching out for this. This is pretty spooky. I really like this because symmetric effects and knowing how to break them is a very fascinating part of card games. Spider Bomb, which features the keyword of this expansion, magnetic.
Magnetic.
So the theme of this expansion is going to be mechs, and with magnetic, you can attach mechs to other mechs. Right now in Standard there are only 8 mechs, but it is going to raise the stock value of quite a lot of these mechs. Harvest Golem and Meat Wagon being some pretty interesting choices. Also, Unpowered Steambot could be really good since that is a lot of stats on a low amount that you can now stick all these magnetic things on. The way that it works is you place the magnetic card to the left of your mech if you want them to fuse together. But you can always play this as its own minion even if you have a mech on the board also by just placing it to the right. So that leads us to Spider Bomb. 3 mana 2/2 magnetic. Death Rattle, destroy random enemy minion with mech. The dream is you have a mech out, you play the Spider Bomb, and I'm being told you magnetize it onto this mech. And then the dream is you can trade that guy right into an opponent's big card, and then the destroy a random enemy minion immediately happens, killing your opponent's other big card. That's pretty big value, because it means you got a deadly shot with a +2 attack bonus. If you somehow magnetize a Spider Bomb onto a Spider Bomb, your playdead will destroy 2 random enemy minions. The value. Next, we have the Rogue Legendary Spell. 5 mana, Myra's Unstable Element, draw the rest of your deck.
I'm out of cards.
That's convenient.
This card is the single most divisive card that I've seen in terms of everyone seems to think it's incredibly awful, but I pitched the idea that this is actually incredibly good, and then I split my community in terms of, wait, that is actually really good, and also, no, you're wrong, it's still incredibly awful. So I compared this card with Aluneth, and I figured that Aluneth probably triggers like about 4 times during a game. But after that, then you are unwillingly taking the triple extra fatigue damage, whereas Myra's Unstable Element front loads all of the cards. You do start immediately taking fatigue damage the turn after, but you aren't taking triple fatigue or quadruple fatigue. You're only taking single fatigue. You're using this as a last burst in a aggressive deck in order to pay 5 mana to draw 10 cards. And obviously, pay 5 mana to draw 10 cards is absolutely insane. It's a way for you to win games where you couldn't normally win, similar to Divine Favor. It gives you that chance to win that you normally would not be able to. So the practical way that I saw it is maybe put it in Odd Rogue or just a general aggressive tempo rogue. Draw your 8, 9, or 10 cards with it. 5 mana, draw 8. 5 mana, draw 9. 5 mana, draw 10. Absolutely insane. And then, you know, try to win the game off of that. And yes, the game lasting a bit will give you a bit of fatigue damage, but if you're up against the control deck, they probably aren't dealing that much damage to you anyways. Other interesting ideas is you can play it with Feldora Strider, and then you can get a bunch of spiders on the board. Note that if you burn these spiders, it does not actually summon the spiders. Kingsbane, since Kingsbane decks inherently do not fatigue. A lot of interesting applications to this, but again, I think the most practical application is to use it in a similar way to Aluneth, in an aggressive deck, possibly Odd Rogue, possibly the Tempo Rogue, but I just can't overstate how powerful 5 mana draw 10 cards is. Shaman's Legendary is insane! 3 mana 3/3 Electra stormsurge. Battlecry your next spell this turn cast twice.
That's more than once! I think people check that out.
There are so many good spells that you want to cast twice. Lightning Storm, Healing Rain, Volcano. Those are the cards that come in mind when I think that this card can just fit right into Shutterwalk. Interestingly enough, all of those cards work well in the control decks too, which doesn't quite exist as an archetype yet, and probably will not exist, while Shutterwalk is just a better control/combo archetype. But maybe you put it into aggro, because then you can Lava Burst the opponent's face twice. You can Bloodlust. Card is absolutely insane because a 3/3 is worth something like 2.5 mana, I would say. When you think about the fact that your next spell is casting twice, the way to value this card is as if you are drawing a card and then casting that spell for free. It does overload you again, by the way. So the value of this card would be something like 7 mana, and you're paying just 3 mana for it, to indicate just how insane this card is. If this were a custom card review, I would have labeled the balance on this card as off, because it would be way too powerful, which is why this card is absolutely insane and will definitely make it into Shutterwalk. I'm going to pre-rate this card 5 stars. There is no way that this card is not insane. And finally, we have an Omega Project card. Omega Project Defender is a neutral card, which by default is just a Stegodon, which is not terrible. I've considered putting Stegodon in decks before. But if you have 10 mana crystals, it is a 4 mana 12/6 with Taunt.
You play these cards at full mana, you better hold on to your butts!
Wow, obviously meant for a late game deck. 4 mana 12/6 Taunt, and it's if you have 10 mana crystals, which means you could play 2 of them on turn 10, and then get 24/12 worth of stats. Seems like a great card to discover off of Stonehill Defender, and a serious consideration for any deck that has a late game plan. Certainly Taunt Warrior, right? Will have to seriously consider this card. Makes the Biology Project look even better as well. I don't know how Druid is going to fit in every single one of these cards, but I mean, Druid ramps to 10 mana crystals really fast. Gonna be pretty scared to see what the Omega Project has to offer these Druids. And finally, last but not least, a card that was very lightly hinted at / spoiled, similar to the way that Hagatha was. We know that there's going to be a Warrior Hero card, and it's D something. Looks like a doctor. And then Mad Genius. The theme of it is that this is the boss, so most likely Dr. Boom, Mad Genius. But wait, that's not all. Zoom in, enhance. Is that a 7 I see? I mean, obviously they're gonna cost Dr. Boom, Mad Genius at 7 mana, right? It's iconic. And that concludes the 5 cards, 6 cards if you count Dr. Boom, revealed with the announcement of Boomsday. I think it's amazing that Hearthstone lore has managed to take what is basically a 2-minute side quest in World of Warcraft into a full-blown expansion featuring our favorite Doctor Balanced, Dr. Boom, Dr. 7. He's become a legend in our Hearthstone hearts. The most powerful boss in all of Hearthstone, Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom. This card's really good in Arena. In Constructed, though, there are going to be better late game legendaries than Dr. Boom, and I wouldn't anticipate seeing much of Dr. Boom in Constructed.
La encontré porque te estaba la ballena agarrada. ¡Ándale, mira dónde llega el agua!
The good and the bad times, we've been through them all. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around. The Inspira, Wheezing Seal, Gyarados Slowbro. Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all.